This past week, I spent a lot of time thinking about how can I help people move more quickly to get across the goal line and do their first acquisition. And as many of you know, I run a VIP mastermind group. I also have three group coaching groups. And so in one of those groups this week, I said, I want to focus on what you're doing, if you're making progress, if not, why, and then how do we move you more quickly? And so I gave them a homework assignment. They have a homework assignment every week, which is to track their outreach numbers, and then we talk about those. But the homework I gave them was to write down your why. Write down why this is important to you. And if that is weak, you're going to just usually get stalled. Hence the shit or get off the pot image. There's no substitute for taking action. So I started to get back some of those comments on what your why is, and then I asked them what their goal was for April so that we focus on that. It was really interesting. There was one where the person said, I stayed up all night thinking about it, why this is so important to me. He wrote it down. He had a story behind why it was important. And then I also got ones that were one sentence. Probably took no time to think about. And that's pretty weak in terms of the motivation that gives you. This is a hard process, and I can't guarantee your success. I'm often asked what separates those that succeed from those that don't succeed. And there's a few things in there. Number one, they start with a why. Why is this important to you? As Napoleon Hill said, that the beginning of achievement was a burning desire. You don't care how hard it is. It's this important to you that you're going to get it done. If you have children, I would suggest that maybe you think about that like if your kids were in a burning building. There is nothing that you would not do to go into that building and get it done. Some way, somehow you would get it done or you would die trying. And most of the people doing this don't have anything close to that strong of a motivation. Some do, and those that do typically do much better. So you've got your why down. Then what do you need to do next? You need to know what to do, right? You need to know the steps. There is a acquisition advantage boot camp that I put together, goes through the steps. That also has a monthly call that we do for Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp members only, where you can ask me personally questions so you get a feedback mechanism. Then you need to surround yourself, once you know the steps and what to do and how to do them, surround yourself with people who have been there, done that. Certainly surround yourself with a board of directors that fits that. Also think about, how do I get around like-minded people that can help me with the progress? There are some spots in the VIP Mastermind that are open now. If you go to the coaching, you'll see the VIP Mastermind on brucewhipple.com. It'll say sold out. Don't pay attention to that. I just want to talk to somebody before I take their money. There's also a couple of group coaching, not many spots open. So that's one way you can do it. And let me give you an example of how that helps. We had a group in which one of the people has a strong why too, was doing 600 to 700 cold calls a week. One of the other people in the group said, that's fantastic. I said, well, I don't know if that's fantastic. Let's see what the results are. How many people do you talk to? He said, I talk to about 1% to 3%, somewhere in that range. Not so fantastic. Had another person in that group that made about 100 calls a week. How many times do you get through to a decision maker? About 25 or 30%. Okay, big difference. 700 calls, talks to 1, 2, 3%, makes 100 calls, 25 to 30% of the time he gets to the owner. Now, the person that had the 25 to 30% said, well, he's doing the right things. Again, I don't know if he's doing the right things. So let me ask a simple question. I asked the 25 to 30% person, do you know the name of the owner? Absolutely. I know the name of the owner. Okay. 1, 2, 3%. Do you know the name of the owner? No, I just asked for the owner. Okay. So I said, let's make something happen in this coming week. forget about the 600 to 700 calls. Take 100 people, know who is the owner at that business, and then call and ask for that owner through the things we've talked about and how to do that. Okay? Sounds great. So again, what are the results? So we ended up this week having a chance to look at that. I said, did you do 100? And he said, well, no. And I'm thinking he was going to say he did 20 or 40. He said, no, actually he did do 100, but he said, I did 241. That was the number. Okay, and what percentage of time did you get to the owner? 37% of the time. Okay. Now, think about the 1% to 2% and how many people you talk to, and then 37%, actually better than the 25 to 30%. The only change there was coming to group, talking about the problem, me being able to ask a question that uncovered the problem. Did I get lucky? Maybe. Was it a lot of experience? Yeah, it was. And by making that change and not saying, can I talk to the owner, he went from 1% to 3% to 37%. There's a lesson in that. Surround yourself with people who have been there, done that, know how to do this. There are people that'll listen to this that'll say, well, I'm not ready for the VIP mastermind. I'm not ready for group coaching. I'm not ready for a course. I'll just try to figure it out. The sales summit we did was all about selling. The feedback, as you've heard on a couple of my podcasts and videos, was fantastic. But we also did a Q&A, special Q&A for those that bought it. And a very small number of people came to that Q&A. And those that did come to that Q&A didn't have a lot of questions, even though we said come with your questions. So why is that? Well, one of the things when you do this process is everybody's afraid, well, of the competition. Guess what? Not everyone is going to be willing to pay the price that hopefully you will to get this done. Not everyone is going to know how to do it. Not everyone is going to be professional. Not everyone is going to take action. Hence, again, shit or get off the pot. There's no substitute for that. So if this is for you, if you've got a strong why, if it's that important to you, then take action. If it's not, move on. Don't frustrate yourself in this process. Is that what the typical net scum would say to you? No, it's not. But I get satisfaction of helping people who are serious about this, who've decided, okay, maybe it hasn't worked in the past, but here's the reason that I'm going to change. Here's why I'm going to change. I know what to do, and I'm going to take action. So I would encourage you to do that. There's plenty of tools over at brucewhipple.com. There's a free course over there. If you want to go to that conversation starter directly, brucewhipple.com/get class. But whatever you do, decide what is your burning desire, understand how to do it, surround yourself with the right people, and take action. Or, as it is so eloquently put, shit or get off the pot.